September 1944. Western France is collapsing for the German army. American forces have broken out of Normandy and are racing east at a speed no one expected. Entire German units are being bypassed, surrounded, and cut off from supplies. Air power controls the skies. Resistance fighters stalk the countryside. For thousands of German soldiers, the war is already lost. They just don't know it yet. Near the Loire River, a German general faces reality. General Bull Henning Stoddard commands nearly 20,000 men, a mix of occupation troops, garrison units, and logistical personnel. These soldiers were never meant to fight a fast-moving armored war. Now they're trapped. American tanks block every route east. River crossings are controlled. There is no way back to Germany. Stoddard understands the situation immediately. His force cannot break through, it cannot retreat, and it cannot win. They can only fight and die for nothing. Stoddard considers his options. A breakout attempt would be annihilated by American aircraft. Dispersing into the countryside would only lead to slow destruction at the hands of U.S. troops and French resistance fighters. The final option is surrender. But for a German general in 1944, surrender is dangerous. Under Hitler's orders, capitulation is considered treason. Officers who surrender risk execution. Their families could face punishment. And there is another fear: retaliation. Years of brutal occupation have left deep wounds in France. Stoddard knows his men may not survive if they are handed over to local forces. Still, Stoddard is not a fanatic. He is a professional soldier, and professionals understand when a war is lost. Through intermediaries, Stoddard contacts American commanders. His proposal is clear. He is willing to surrender his entire force, nearly 20,000 soldiers, under specific conditions. His men must be treated as prisoners of war under the Geneva Conventions. The surrender must be conducted formally, and they must be taken into American custody, not handed over to French authorities. The request reaches General George S. Patton. This is Patton's sector. No surrender of this size happens without his approval. Some officers argue that no conditions should be accepted. The Germans are defeated. Why negotiate? Patton sees something others don't. 20,000 enemy soldiers laying down their weapons without a single American casualty isn't a problem, it's a gift. More importantly, Patton understands the message this decision will send. If surrender means humiliation or revenge, surrounded German units will fight to the last man. But if surrender means fair treatment, rational commanders will choose survival. Patton approves the terms. He orders his forces to handle the surrenders strictly according to the laws of war. No favors, no cruelty, just discipline and professionalism. On September 16, 1944, the surrender begins. German soldiers march toward American lines in organized formation, not as a broken mob, but as military units. At the front stands General Stoddard and his officers. The surrender is conducted formally. Weapons are collected, troops are processed, wounded soldiers receive medical care, prisoners are fed and transported to POW camps. There are no atrocities, no revenge. And word spreads fast. Within days, German units across France hear what happened. A general surrendered 20,000 men to American forces, and they were treated correctly. Officers began requesting surrender specifically to U.S. units. Intelligence reports notice the pattern. Resistance collapses faster than expected. Patton never meets Stoddard. He doesn't need to. His decision has already done its work. Every surrender saves American lives. Every capitulation secures territory without battle. Weeks of fighting are avoided. Casualties drop. The campaign accelerates. After the war, Stoddard is put on trial in Germany for surrendering his command, but the court recognizes the truth. His situation was hopeless. Fighting would have meant pointless death. He is pardoned. Stoddard later admits something important. If he believed surrender meant execution or abuse, he would have fought on, not for victory, because he had no alternative. the professional treatment offered by American forces made surrender possible. That is the lesson. Patton is remembered as an aggressive, relentless commander, and rightly so, but this episode reveals another side of his leadership. He understood that discipline, law, and respect can be weapons just as powerful as tanks and artillery. Sometimes, the fastest way to win a war is to give the enemy a reason to stop fighting. Nearly 20,000 lives were spared, on both sides, because Patton knew when to accept surrender instead of demanding destruction. That is not weakness. That is command at its highest level.